were the people in Canada ignorant? Did you ever get the, oh my God, you speak very good English? Or is that just exclusive for the Americans?
My mom went all like mental, like, no, this is not gonna happen. My kids need to speak the language.
Say nice things or bad things. I might make this into a reel, might go viral.
I would say, or at least how I would see it, it was kind of traumatic. Like,
Yeah.
it was intense. Obviously, we got done with that, lived our lives for a year, and then
Boom.
bam, bam, literally.
Now you're talking about what you need in a relationship, and you're in a new one. Who is he? Drop the gas. How are you continuing to navigate that? This must be an incredible relationship.
I love this question because no one gets curious enough to ask this question once. I think it's like a baseline question where people like, how is he okay with all of this?
I'm way too nosy, by the way. Like I said, I'll ask you a question. If you don't like it, they're like, nah. I'm like, okay, cool.
No, I love it. I love it.
That of mature man.
Yeah.
They exist.
So I love to dream and I love to come up with ideas and work on them. And even if I'm going to fail, I always want to test and learn, try, do mistakes and come. And because every single path that you take takes you to something.
Now that we know you would have said yes, had your parents been there, do you think it would have lasted?
No.
Oh, that was so quick.
Yeah.
Welcome to Think You Know. Whether you think you know or know you don't, this is the show for you. I am so excited, you guys, for the next guest on the show. If you follow me on social media, you will know already how obsessed with this woman I am. She has graced our screens on the global hit show Love Is Blind Habibi, and she is here to talk to us today all about her culture, her values, and some very fun projects that she has coming up. I have Asma Sami from Love Is Blind Habibi with me.
Gorgeous.
Welcome, my dear. How are you?
I'm good, darling. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for replying to my DMs. I think I nagged you a little bit too much.
No, not at all. On the contrary, you're one of the people that I really, really like the content what you created on TikTok. And it was because it was genuine. It was someone that I was actually curious about the people. So I love that about you. So,
Oh my God,
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's made my day. I think I'm going to have to put that in like my 2024 completion tick box. I just want to get straight into it. Obviously, we spoke before the cameras came on. I'm not here to be a gossip podcast. I'm not here to really talk about, the other people. You and everybody else has done plenty of shows by now, plenty of interviews. I want to know about you. So I've done a lot of research on you before today's filming in the least creepy way possible. But on the show, you're Egyptian, Canada is mentioned. I think there's some other countries within your life. Talk to me a little bit about you, just your history, where you were born, raised, growing up, all of that.
First off, thank you for doing that research, bringing me on, and giving me the space to tell my story. So I was originally born and raised in Jeddah, which is located in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi.
Yeah. I lived there all of my childhood, adolescence, and all the way up until I was going to university. And this is when I went to Cairo, which is my hometown back in Egypt.
Ah,
I
nice.
studied there, lived there for a bit. And then I traveled to live in Canada, where my sister and my brother were going for school in uni. And I was like, okay, this is a good chance for me to try something new. Because I don't know, like this has been something that I think it's been ingrained in me as I go, is that I like to travel, I like to explore. And then I thought that this would be a good opportunity for me to like explore, okay, I lived in the Middle East, how about I go into exploring the West?
West, yes.
Yeah. So Canada was a good start. And then after Canada, I moved to Dubai, I think 4 years ago.
Oh, nice.
So now I live in Dubai and I consider it as home away from home.
Yeah.
Truly.
Where is home then? If you have home away from home, where's home?
I don't know, like obviously Egypt is home because it's my country and it's my like citizenship, my background, everything that I come from. And but then I consider myself, every single place that I've lived in has taken a piece of me.
Nice.
So I would consider it as home as well, because obviously Saudi Arabia lived there for like, I don't know, like 18 years.
Wow, long time.
So I feel like this was home. And then Dubai obviously now is home. I've been here for 4 years and I absolutely love this city. I love the country. And as well as Canada. I didn't live there for long. I think around 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Canada were?
In Toronto.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. It's a very cool city. was quite cold, if I may say.
Actually, yeah, now you mentioned it, that would have been the most seasonal out of all of them. You know, the springs are springing, the summers are summer, and the winter is wintering.
Literally. And then you go all the way from Saudi, the weather, how hot it could be, and then you go all the way to Canada where it was like crazy freezing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I got the best of each. I consider Egypt as
Egypt's home. That's where the heart is and the soul.
Yeah.
How did you, forgive me if this is too intrusive, what were your parents doing that meant that you were moving around so much? How did your parents end up in Saudi?
Oh, no, not at all. So my parents, I think they moved prior to meeting each other even.
Oh, wow.
To like, I think doing the same that I'm doing right now is to explore life, work. So I think at the time, it wasn't easy to find like a decent job back at home. So Saudi offered them something that was exciting, and this is how they traveled, and they met there, and then they got married and got me. So yeah, so it was more or less of like, I think I'm carrying their story as I go. It's like they're going to places where they can build and grow and learn.
Love them.
Yeah. So
and talk about family. So your sister we see on the show a lot. I see her on your social media, but you've just mentioned they're a brother. I didn't realize there were three of you.
We are three.
No way! Literally, I was there like, does she have more? I'm not too sure, but you and your sister are like besties, right?
Literally besties. So I think this is one of the great things that my parents have done, is that they made sure that they integrate us into activities together. So if we did a specific set of sports, we do it together. We used to go to school together, so automatically we became very close and became friends.
Nice.
And literally every single where I go, she goes, and vice versa. So when she initially traveled to Canada, I was like, okay, I'm gonna come with you, and we're very close like that. So I consider her like my lifelong best friend.
I love this.
And I'm so happy of this bond because and this is what makes my family value so high, is that I really appreciate my family so much for the tons of things that I've done and they've done for me. And one of these things is my sister, and obviously my brother. My brother is like my little baby, but we're 8 years apart.
Oh, bigger. Are you eldest, then sister, then brother?
Yeah. Imagine I'm the eldest.
You totally give big sister energy, don't worry.
Really?
Yeah,
okay, good.
I'm the big sister of a...
Really?
To be fair, there's only two of us. And he's like just over 2 years younger than me. And he's like half a foot taller than me. But as far as I'm concerned, he's 6 years old. And I'm absolutely in charge.
Yeah. Literally, this is literally
He'll be there like, you can't talk to me like that. I'm like, yes, I can. It's so true though. But I feel like big sisters can kind of like tell there's a certain like oomph to us. That it's just that little like, should I say quite that little telepathy of like, oh no, she's got big sister vibes.
Literally, I think it's you get into that vibe because of your family. Your parents give you that responsibility of your sister or brother. At one point, you need to take him out, do this for him, do that for him, and then you own that as you go, I think. So yeah, big sister.
Speaking of family values, so both your parents are Egyptian, correct? So when you're living in Saudi, I'm assuming there wasn't a lot of culture clashing because you'd come from an Arab country to another Arab country, but especially in Canada, there must have been a lot of culture clashing going on. You and your siblings would have all been third culture kids. It's a phrase that I only learned since living here, actually, is the children who are raised in a culture that's not actually the culture that they're living in. So how have your parents and how have your family been able to maintain the culture and values that are expected as Egyptian people while living in such different environments?
So I would say Saudi, as you mentioned, wasn't like there are no huge differences. We're both speak the same languages, different dialects, of course. We have more or less the same cultural backgrounds, etc. So Saudi wasn't an issue at all. On the contrary, but I think the key thing that my parents have brought us up to is to stay cultured and have an eye for different cultures. So we used to go to international schools. This is where we were educated. So most of my friends were actually a mix ever since I was young. So every single different nationality you would see in my school, and and even in like the place we were living at, I would mingle with people from different cultures, not necessarily only Arabs or Egyptians, but different cultures. And I think this is something that brought us up to be very having an open mentality and acceptance for like differences and different cultures, and being even curious at points to like get to know, like I want to know what you guys do during that season or that time of year, like, and this is why we support and celebrate different backgrounds and different nationalities. So this is something that they have always taught us, is to stay that open, accepting, understanding different cultures. But at the same time, at home, my mom would make sure that we speak Arabic, Egyptian Arabic, yes. Like I remember in my, and she always reminds me, like when up until I was in like, I think 3rd grade, I wouldn't speak an one word in Arabic. My mom went all like mental, like, no, this is not gonna happen. My kids need to speak the language. So she had to like ship me to Egypt for a whole summer to spend it with my cousins, for me to grasp and get the language, because for her it's so important and it's part of my identity. And she wanted to have that in us, like be open, understand, explore, do, appreciate, accept, but at the same time preserve what you are all about. And I think she did a good job. A great job.
And I just realised you saying that, of course, the international schools would have been all English speaking, wouldn't they? So you were around, especially during term time, you were around the English language a lot more than you would have been around the Arabic language. Oh gosh, of course, that's so interesting. And I think, what was international school like in Jeddah back when you were growing up? Because we're a similar age, right? Early 30s.
Yes.
So, you know, back in, you know, the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, Saudi Arabia would have been a completely different place to what it was now. So who were you sort of like mixing with? What was sort of like the variation that was within these schools?
Yeah, different, honestly. Like we would have Arabs from different parts of the region. We would have Americans, English. We would have different from different parts of Asia, India, Pakistan, Philippines. And it would be like a huge mix of different cultures. So it was literally a melting pot. And I think the type of education that I got there, on top of the academia and like what type of subjects that you study, is that you get to learn and meet all of these people and get to understand, like, no, it does not revolve around you and your household or your country. There's a lot of things that are out there, and this is what got me into becoming so curious. And I think this led me to being that person that likes to travel a lot, experience different things, get myself open and exposed, open up my mind to things that I haven't known or experienced. So yeah,
Experiences you think you know.
Yeah, when you don't.
So you school in Saudi, university in Egypt, and then over to Canada.
And then over to Canada.
So you went from an incredibly mixed school to, please forgive me, I assume Egypt's quite a homogenous society, and then over to Canada, which I'm assuming would have been fairly homogenous as well?
It is very diverse, but then along the way, it happens that each cluster of nationalities would stick to each other. But then obviously it's very open. But yeah, that shift taught me a lot, because obviously when I was in Jeddah as a child, I would see different cultures, but I wouldn't necessarily get much in contact with the Egyptian culture.
With your own,
I would at home, but obviously this is a specific limit. Like I had Egyptian friends, but not as much. So, and my only contact with my culture would be during the summers. When I go spend the summer with my family, cousins, etc., and then I travel back and then I come back. So this would be only the phase where I actually get in touch. So it took me some time actually to have that adjustment when I first went back to Cairo, to understand, because in the beginning, like, people would say jokes, and we're all about like saying jokes and stuff, and people would say jokes and I wouldn't relate, and I would be like, I'm so embarrassed. And yeah, in the beginning, I felt so bad about it, because I felt like, okay, I'm not fully Egyptian, but I'm not, like, how can I say this? Like, I'm not this and I'm not that. I kind of lost my identity in the middle, and it took me some time to build it. So I think moving to Cairo at that phase was very important for me to get in touch with my culture, with people, with everything that has to do with my essence as a background. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I think it helps me a lot in that sense. Yeah.
But how do you think all of these different environments have influenced the kind of Arab woman that you are? Because Love Is Blind Habibi really showcased to the Western world the variety of Arab women that there are. You know, I think especially you'll understand, you know, maybe more than most, having lived in the West, just how the media likes to spin this part of the world, especially when it comes to women.
Yeah.
So because you have all of these different cultures and all of these different pulls and pushes towards you for being an Arab woman, how do you think each location you've been in has influenced how you've got here today?
That's a very good question. I think without all of these different places that I've lived in, I wouldn't have been the person that I am. And I would add on top of that is the mentality and the mindset of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
My parents have been always advocating for go, travel, experience,
Nice.
get yourself out there. This is the world. Now the world operates like this. It's not like before.
Mm. As traveling as a woman alone as well?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I travel alone all the time.
Brilliant.
And actually this was something that was encouraged by my parents. Obviously my mom was like going all crazy, like, why are you going Habibti and leaving us? And yeah, because the first trip that I've ever done in my life was to South Africa in 2010.
Wow.
For the World Cup. And my mom was like,
cool.
I'm so scared you're going to travel. I was so young. I was, I think, 19 or 20.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, so these places, they sort of, I think Saudi Arabia starting off, it gave me that sense of like international understanding of different cultures and backgrounds. And then Egypt connected me back to my roots.
Yep.
Canada gave me a perspective that is completely different than what I've known. And Dubai, I go back to like how open and this kind of brought me back to where I was, which is open. It's an open space for different cultures, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
The amount of people and nationalities that you see in the city, I don't think you see anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the chance to like mingle and understand people further, which is something that I'm very curious about as a person.
I appreciate you're only in Canada for a small period of time, but I have to ask, were the people in Canada ignorant? Did you ever get the, oh my God, you speak very good English? Or is that just exclusive for the Americans?
Honestly,
based on your reaction, I've got a feeling you might have had that a few times.
Yeah, I got that a few times. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The first thing people would ask you, like, obviously you get that question where people, when they first see me, obviously I'm not a Canadian.
Yeah.
But then they get so shy to ask, where are you from? So the question goes like, so where are you originally from?
Oh, yeah.
And then you go like Egypt. And then I get, oh, that is so cool. So you live next to the pyramids. In the beginning, I was like, what? How? Like, and I tried to justify.
Giza's in my backyard.
Yeah.
I've actually got a swing. If you go like on the bag, three stones up, I've set up a swing.
Khofo's like my house, you know?
Asma heart, whoever like engraved into the rock.
Literally, I swear. And this would be one question, and then another question would be like, so you go to school by camels?
Oh.
And in the beginning, like when I first got these questions, I used to get like a little bit offended.
Yeah.
And towards the end, I was like, yeah, I live in the pyramids, actually inside the pyramids.
Stop. And they full on, I reckon they full on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Yeah. But actually, it's a good thing because people recognize Egypt for the pyramids.
Yeah.
When you say other countries, they might not recognize them.
Yeah.
In some cases.
I have to admit, I'm glad you said that you were from Cairo, because if you said any other part of Egypt, I would have been there like,
Yeah.
My geographical knowledge of Egypt is non-existent.
Yeah. Egypt is huge though. So,
it's huge. I was looking at the map like, oh my gosh, it's huge. It's huge.
It is huge. Yeah.
So why Dubai? How did you end up over here? You moved on your own?
Yeah. Why Dubai? So actually, when I was living in Egypt, I think I had a an amazing job. I was getting paid great. I had my friends. Everything was set, right? And I think I come to that space mentally at at points of my life where I feel like, okay, what's next? How can I add more value to myself and the people around me? What am I doing now? Like, I feel like I want to go on something new. So by mere coincidence, I got a job offer. So I was like,
Oh, brilliant.
even though like all of my friends and my parents were like, are you sure you want to do this now after you've settled? Because it took me some time to settle into Egypt.
Oh, okay, so you gone Saudi, Egypt, Canada, back to Egypt.
Back to Egypt,
Got
and
you.
then I came here. And it took me some time to settle. So are you sure you want to do this step now that you have settled? You have everything. This is considered as your base, etc. I was like, yeah, what do I have to lose? Why not?
Brilliant.
Yeah. And I always have this mentality of like, why not? What's the worst case scenario? I'm gonna lose like not do well, come back in like, I don't know, a year, 2 months, whatever. But worst case scenario, I would say that I have tried and I've given this a shot. And I felt like, okay, this is a very exciting city that I would love to go and discover. And here we are.
Did you have friends over here? Any network?
Only one friend.
Okay, so you knew someone.
Only one friend.
Had you ever been here on holiday, or did you just?
I came like just once.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've heard obviously about Dubai. I know how beautiful as it was or it is as a city, but then I've only visited for 3 days as a tourist.
Okay.
So I've never understood like, but I felt like, okay, this could be a good chance, or this could be like an exciting chapter in my life. Let's go.
Well, you had a very, very exciting chapter in your life. You're on probably the biggest TV show of the region, probably for the next couple of years. I think they're scouting for season 2, but
They are, yeah.
But you guys completely broke the region in like every way possible. Before you went on the show, or well, actually when you were on the show, you said you'd had few opportunities to get married and you hadn't taken them. Obviously, your culture and my culture is very different when it comes to like dating and marriage. So what were the options that you'd had been presented? Were you like dating? Had you just had people message your dad and be there like, excuse me, Miss Asma, your daughter's kind of cool. Like, what were the opportunities that have been presented to you before? And then also, how did that end up with you ending up on the show? That was a real tongue twister.
Yeah, so obviously in my culture, and as you said, our culture is a little bit different when it comes to like how we approach relationships and marriages in general. And my approach to it is that I was always making sure that I want to find someone that adds value to me as well as I can add value to him, and we share the same sets of like beliefs, sets of values in life, what do we want to achieve, etc. So I was in relationships prior to the show, and some of them I was about to get married, but it didn't happen because we found our differences and we weren't able to go on. But then I think the reason why I got into this show, or like this kind of led me into the, how can I say, like the route into Love Is Blind Habibi. Because obviously the show advocates for something that I was looking for, which is a committed relationship. Even though I'm very conscious that relationships could take time, because obviously this is part of things that we get from our culture. Yeah, it takes time for you to build that trust, build that relationship, and strengthen it and foster it, etc. But then I want our end in mind objective to be that this is something that is we are both committing on, because obviously this is a reflection of my culture and my background, and this is how I want to present myself. And I want to be in a relationship that the person that I'm with is responsible, committed, and ensures that there are steps into it. So yeah. And that led me to Love Is Blind Habibi.
How did you find the show? Because it must be such a surreal thing, filming it, your story happens, dealing with it, getting over it, life and then it's back and you're having to sort of like relive all of these things. There's a lot that went on. You know, your storyline was one of the most talked about for various reasons. You know, how is it reliving all of that again?
If I may say, I think this experience is literally like no other in the sense of the setting. This is for one. For people that are not aware, the setting was that you're completely isolated from everything that you know. So your phone is taken away, no internet. You stay in a room outside. If you're outside of shooting time, you're in a room on your own with a security guy on the door, not allowing you to go out. You're not supposed to speak to any of the other cast members, which are the girls, outside of shooting.
Wow.
So it was kind of confining. And I think this is the essence of the experience, where it tries to separate you from everything that could bring in distraction. For you to focus completely on the experience and on your partner to be. And I think this is good and at the same time traumatizing to a specific extent, because it was at points it was a little bit too much. I
Did you get like books or colouring or anything when you're in the you just like a cell?
We had a notebook. This is what how I would reflect and write my thoughts.
Wow.
Because obviously I have no one to talk to.
Gosh, so you really are
in your head,
just with your thoughts. That's all you have.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. And obviously because you are on your own, you get to navigate this whatever way it comes out to you. And from one person, it differs to the others. To the other. And how it comes out is, or at least how it came out for me, is that I was presented again by sets of patterns that I had in my life. And I'm like, no. So it was intense in that way. And obviously, everything that is being shot, and sometimes things get so emotional. It becomes so vulnerable. You share a lot about yourself. Essentially, when you think about it, you share a lot about yourself to someone that you do not know. Literally.
It's just a voice.
It's crazy.
That's like chatting to Alexa or something.
Literally, I swear. And you keep on sharing and you keep on opening up and being vulnerable, and that becomes very consuming emotionally over time and mentally. And then obviously we got done with that, lived our lives for a year, and then
Boom.
Bam. Bam. Literally. Yeah. And I remember the first time I watched the show, there were scenes that I cried again, as if I was living, like the moment of the dress. I cried again. There are so many scenes that I felt like I was reliving the emotion again. Because I would say, or at least how I would see it, it was kind of traumatic. Like, it was intense.
Super intense. And it's documented, you know, you've got it.
And it's there forever.
No, we love you, don't worry. We are a fan of you here, I think, you know, so you're good. A couple of things you mentioned on the show that I really want to discuss, because I am a nosy so-and-so. You said you were stuck between, you know, the person you're with and somebody else on the show, and the other male interest was Egyptian. You kept on saying, and everyone said, you like Egyptian men. What is synonymous with Egyptian men? You were talking about the fact he's joking and all of that, but, you know, what is it that, you know, if we wanted to stereotype dating or marrying an Egyptian man, what could people sort of expect?
If I will to speak about my experience in that specific context, I would say that it was a matter of familiarity, because obviously all my previous relationships were with Egyptian men. And this is what I'm saying about patterns. One of my patterns is going back to things that are familiar. What to expect dating an Egyptian man?
Say nice things or bad things. I might make this into a real, like, a viral.
Very opinionated. Like they have a specific mindset about things, and they stick to it. Very masculine, very giving and caring. At points, sometimes over controlling.
Ooh.
But this is not a generalization. But I mean, in some cases, some Egyptian partners, I would say, yeah.
Is it like, you know, slightly between overprotective to controlling?
Yeah.
It's that sort of
I
like
would say that.
balance.
Yeah, I would say that. That overprotective to a little bit controlling. And yeah, very generous. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good. And when you guys, because I've interviewed one of your castmates before, and she told me during the resort when you guys were meeting up, you were only talking on camera. So when you made it out of the resort and you're sort of semi in the real world, but you're still not because you're on the show, are you have each other's numbers? You're texting, messaging, following on Insta? Are you arranging your own dates, or is it still within the show? Everything is still controlled by production.
We were not allowed to follow each other after, up until the show went live.
No way.
Yeah. It was part of not to break any spoilers for anyone.
Got you.
I think even the couples as well were not allowed to like follow each other or show that they're together publicly in pictures online. But we actually connected afterwards. And, and I think this is one of the beautiful things that I came out with from the experience, was that I actually made friends.
Yeah.
So I'm, as you might know, I'm very good friends now with Safa, Dunya, and Nada. And I'm very happy because I think that our type of relationship is it's built on relevance, and it's built on having each other's backs and supporting each other through the journey. And I don't think anyone outside of this would understand like we do. So when Dunya calls me up and tells me something, I'm like, yep, I get it. And when I call her to do, she's like, yeah, absolutely. So, and this is where our connection started growing. And these are one of the things that I'm very grateful for from this experience, is that I came out with it, out of it with very, very good friends and great people.
Yeah, and I even see you on Insta on like this at the same events with your ex, and it's just nice and above board and all of this. I'm like, she's a better woman than me. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, we're both good people. It just happened that that we weren't able to find our ground together, and that doesn't make any of us bad. It just makes that, like we say in Arabic, mafish nasib, or like there is no, how can I say this in English?
It's just not compatible.
Yeah,
you know?
we're just not compatible.
The pieces of the puzzle don't quite click together.
Literally. And nonetheless, I have all the respect for him. I appreciate him. And again, and this is obviously one of the things that I hold as a value, is that as long as we're both actually good people, we haven't hurt each other, we haven't done we didn't disrespect each other, there is no reason like to bring that hatred into the picture. And I'm like that also with my exes.
Yeah,
if they allow me, I'm also like open to like keeping a friendship with them. Yeah.
So despite not making an appearance other than your sister, your family played a huge part in your storyline. So can you help us understand the dating marriage process from your perspective? In the show, you're very, very clear. Your family have to meet him first. If they're okay, then you would meet his family. But I saw in another interview, you mentioned the Egyptian process is a bit longer than maybe other cultures. So can you just help us understand a bit more about what your expectations are when it comes to dating and marriage from your cultural perspective?
So yeah, I mean, as you said, one of my key values is family. And I really appreciate my family a lot, and I wouldn't want to do anything along the way that would hurt them, put them in a position of disrespect, etc. But then at the same time, I'm a person that likes to own up for what I do, even if my parents are not in the same picture for any reason. So in Egypt in general, and I think I don't want to generalize, and I don't want to say that this is an Arabic thing, but in relationships in the Middle East, I would speak specifically about Egypt, or what I've known, is that we like to take our time into a relationship. Yes, we know we are committed. We build into that. So we give space for families to connect and to get to know each other, because we have a saying in the Arab world, I think in general, or in the Middle East, that says you get married to a person, you marry their family. And usually in our culture, there is so much respect that is weighted out for the girl. Like there is so much respect a girl needs to get from the guy and his family for order to ask for her hand. And we have this term, I don't know if you guys have it, I don't think you do, asking for the girl's hand.
Oh yeah, in some families the father will want the man to ask his permission to marry him, but I think it depends on the family now. It used to be very explicit, whereas now I think some people are like, my father doesn't own me, you can't ask my dad first. And I'm there
it's more of like the girl has so much value and worth and respect that the guy needs to sort of request to have her and become his wife. And this process starts by the guy approaching the family of the girl first. And again, it's all about giving that respect to the family and to the girl that you are getting to marry. So the guy approaches the family, they meet, they get introduced, and then if things go well, families start to meet, and then if things go well, khalas. So, but in general, in Egypt, one of the things that I've noticed is that we like to take our time with relationships. We like to build them. We like to build that family connection, and it's so important. Well, in reality, if I think about it, even if I feel that both families are not entirely clicking, and I am completely convinced that this is the man, my family will give me the full respect and support to go for it. It's not going to be like, no, we do not like him, or we do not like his family. My family would probably, or my parents would probably be like, maybe these are feedback or comments, how we think about this relationship. But then you're an adult, you do. And this is something that I really appreciate about my parents, is that they give me the space.
So good. Yeah, because you hear so much stereotyping around our parents, especially with daughters, very controlling, and you can't do this and you can't do that, and you're completely, smashing every stereotype here. It's fantastic to hear.
And this is, I give that to my parents, my mom and my dad specifically, against all odds, where people would tell him, how would you let her travel, how would you let her do this, how would you let her to do that, but still he would give me that freedom and space. He trusts me, and he knows at the end of the day, what's the worst that could happen? You'll learn and come back, and you understand that this
is a legend.
Yeah, he is a legend.
He sounds great.
Yeah, he is great. Yeah.
So you say Egyptians like to take their time, but how much time are we talking? Are we talking like, instead of it being 3 months, it's like 6? Because that's still hella quick in Western terms.
No, I would say years, man.
Oh, okay.
Years.
So, very, very similar to the culture that I come from then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And do you do boyfriend, fiance, husband, or is it?
Yeah. Boyfriend.
Untechnically, you do a boyfriend, and then
yeah. I mean, you obviously, before you get to the stage where you become engaged to someone, you get to know that person. So we call that period is like getting to know, dating. Yeah. So we call it the same. So you date that person for quite some time up until you are convinced, and then you introduce that person to your family.
Nice.
And then families get introduced, and then you take it from there. And in our cultures in general, it's so important that this family relationship is at least they're on the same line, they come from a similar background, they understand and respect each other. And once that happens, everything boils down to like getting prepared to the wedding. But in general, we take years.
You take your time.
Yeah.
Because family was, like I said, it was such a heavy focus for your storyline in particular. And you said only recently, had your family been there, you would have said yes, you would have got married. So it was just not as simple as that, but you know what I mean, as simple as them, getting on a plane, and things could have been wildly different for you.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been completely different in that story, right? And again, I understand where my family come from, because for them, reality TV, it's not something that they understood. Like, they knew obviously that I was taking part of the experience, but they didn't understand. Like, to be fair, I didn't understand either. Like, I was like, when I was going through the process, even when I got it, like when I got engaged to Khattab during the show, I was like, am I really engaged? Like, is this for real? And in my head, I wasn't able to comprehend the concept, and it took me some time to process. So I can only imagine what my parents thought of, or so it's not an idea that they processed, and they wanted to take their time, and I wanted to respect them. And obviously there's nothing that I would do that, and obviously not get married. I'm not going to be able to get married to someone without them being there, and without them getting to know the person, feeling that they're comfortable, etc. So yeah, this was a huge decision to take, and even in our culture, you cannot. I know at certain instances, you cannot get married without your father being there. I think so, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I have heard about this actually. Yeah, now you mention
Not mistaken. In some countries, it's not allowed. You need to get not necessarily the consent of your parents, but then your dad needs to be present. If you have a deceased father, that could probably you, in that case, you can marry yourself. So this is one element, and then obviously the element of me respecting my parents. I can never do something like this.
I have a juicy question for you, just because you brought him up, Khattab.
Yeah.
By the way, big fan of Khattab. He's absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
In the reunion, the scheduling issues came up. You guys gave it a shot. It didn't work out. Now that we know you would have said yes, had your parents been there, do you think it would have lasted?
No.
Oh, that was so quick.
Because I thought about it. Obviously.
Well, I thought you were going to be there like, I don't feel comfortable answering that question. I was like, that's fine, we can cut it out. Really?
Yeah, no. I mean, I thought about it, obviously, because you think about all of these different scenarios that can pop up in your life. And then I thought about it. I wouldn't have been able to keep up with that, honestly. Because essentially, why would I want to be in a relationship if my partner is not there? I'm not saying be there 24 hours a day, but just be available. And we weren't able to get to that point. So I don't think, even if we have gotten married, if things have kept on being the same and we weren't able to come up with a solution of solving this, or coming up with like a schedule or an agreement on how we come about it, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have been able, because I'm very conscious that I'm not going to be in a relationship just for the sake of it. If I am not getting what I deserve and I need out of this relationship, I might as well not be, because I was 3 years single before I got into Love Is Blind. And I was happy with it. So yeah.
Do you think because you said no, potentially he sort of fizzled out? Do you think if you had said yes and you were married, actually you wouldn't have been in that situation? Because some men, I'm not saying all men, but some men, the second there's the paperwork or the title, they switch.
They switch good or switch bad?
Depends.
Yeah.
But, you know, do you think maybe had the paperwork and the title been there, actually you wouldn't have been in that situation?
This is a very good question. I think getting to the phase where we were at the time, we were getting married. You know what I mean? Like, we got to the point where we were at the aisle, getting married. Khalas, yani, next thing is date or honeymoon, you know? So I don't know if this was the barrier. You know what I mean? Like, this is not something for me to say, but in my head, or at the time, or like in my opinion at the time, if we got to the phase where we were about to get married, why did that happen?
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Why would something like this come up? And it obviously made me doubt the relationship, made me doubt that this is the right thing for me to do. Nonetheless, he's great, he's wonderful, and we have similar mindsets, similar backgrounds, etc. But then this is not what I want for myself. And I'm very, very conscious and clear, specifically after the experience, about what I want in a relationship and what I don't. and having someone that is not available emotionally, mentally, being there is not something that I can take. I won't be able to keep up with it.
Yep.
So yeah.
I feel you. Now you're talking about what you need in a relationship, and you're in one. You're in a new one. Who is he? Drop the goss. You don't tag him in any of your pictures. Is he Egyptian?
I'm not gonna say that now.
Oh, think you know exclusive.
I'm not gonna say that now.
How did you meet him? What's the situation? Is he your boyfriend, your fiance? Like, what's the sitch?
So we met. So the show ended last year in October, and me and Khatab tried to like be here, be there. Didn't work out. So I think we broke it off 2-3 weeks later.
Okay. Oh, quick.
Yeah, it was very quick. And then I think I wanted to take some time off for myself. So so one of the things that I used to do is I went to a lot of places where I do breath work. I did a lot of therapy. I wanted to like work on myself and get all the learnings that I got out of this experience to actually benefit me. And I took like 3 months with doing a lot of therapy, a lot of ice bath, a lot of community, a lot of service. I traveled because I really wanted this to sit in, and I wanted to like absorb everything that I've been through, because it was a rough experience on me personally. And then along the way, I think,
and that was before it even aired.
Yeah,
just filming it was wow.
Yeah, 45 days. Yeah, 20 days, almost 20 days in the pods.
Wow.
Yeah, and then 45 days in total. We started the 1st of September, ended the 15th of October.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Non-stop. And obviously I have my job next to it, so I used to shoot and do my job and then get stressed out and call my parents and feeling that I'm getting married, but I don't know if I'm going to get married. So it was too much. It was so intense on me. It might have not shown throughout the process, but the impact it had on me was huge. On that, I felt like I got so confused and lost, especially after we broke it off, me and Khattab. I was like, was this real? Was it not? I had so many questions in my head. So I wanted to really process all of that. So I kind of took all the 3 months afterwards up until the end of the year, healing, working on myself, doing therapy, going a lot into community service. And then I think around April, earlier this year, this is when I met my partner. And we met in a similar context in the community where we do ice bath, breath work, and meditation.
Nice.
Yeah. And and we kicked it off from there, I guess. And I actually found the things, and I feel like this relationship was a byproduct of the whole experience.
Yeah.
Because everything that I have aligned in with myself in terms of what I want in a partner, I found it in him. And
good.
Yeah.
How do you navigate meeting someone new, telling them there's a TV show that you're going to be on coming out where you almost get married, and just so you know, when that comes out, I'm going to have to talk about that relationship for the next however long. How do you navigate those conversations? Because this man must be mature as heck, because I don't know many men who would be
accepting,
comfortable with it, even as a woman, you know.
Yeah.
My man even like sniffs another gun. What you doing? Like, you know, let alone reliving these emotions and, you know, being as open and honest and as vulnerable as you've been, not just with me, but all the other interviews I've seen of you. How did you navigate that at the beginning? And then since the show came out and everything that's happened, how are you continuing to navigate that? This must be an incredible relationship.
Yeah, and these are one of the things that I really owe him, and the things that I really feel like, okay, this is the right choice. And by the way, I love this question because no one gets curious enough to ask this question once. I think it's like a baseline question where people like, how is he okay with all of this?
I'm way too nosy, by the way. Like I said, I'll ask you a question. If you don't like it, they're like, nah. I'm like, okay, cool.
No, I love it. So I remember when I felt like, okay, this is going to be something that I really want to start investing into. We both had that mutual understanding. It was the first thing I tell him. I told him full honesty, the full story, A to Z, all the way, everything in between, and even the aftermath, what I had to go through, and all the things that I was telling you about. So I shared with him everything in depth, and obviously, he didn't really understand the concept because he doesn't watch reality TV. So he reminded me of my parents. It was like flashback, and I'm like, again, guys, what's up with all the people that don't watch reality TV? So he didn't really understand the concept, but he was very accepting, and he was like, this was way before me, and he was super respectful and accepting about it. And then obviously the show came out, and he watched it.
Oh my god!
And
he's a better man than me. I couldn't
it wasn't. I don't think he watched all of it. He wasn't really comfortable watching all of it, which I understand. Like at points, I was like, okay, can we skip this part, please?
Let's go someone else's storyline, please.
Literally, sometimes I would be like, okay, khalas, I'm done with this episode. Let's go somewhere else. Let's eat popcorn. Literally, because obviously I wouldn't feel like very comfortable, you know, like I don't want him to feel in that space. So yeah, he was super understanding of, even though he wasn't comfortable. Like I can tell you this, I could see in his face, like at so many things that he wouldn't be happy about it. And then obviously seeing the story with me sometimes speaking about the relationship and what happened, etc. And I also try to be very mindful of what I say, because obviously I respect him a lot. I feel like the amount of maturity and his understanding to the situation is something that I incredibly admire and appreciate. And I know for a fact, it is so hard to find a man that would give me that much of trust and be confident about me and respect that this was something that happened prior to getting to meet him, etc.
That of mature man.
Yeah,
they exist.
I am so lucky. I swear. Sometimes I feel like, how did this happen? And I feel like, okay, I'm so lucky. Yeah, literally, I feel so lucky, and I'm so grateful to have him.
Love this for you.
Yeah,
can you tell us anything about him? Maybe like his age, or what kind of industry he works in, or
I can give you the industry, and
okay. Yeah.
I can give you the industry, and I can tell you that he's not on social media.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Same.
He doesn't like social media.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why he didn't understand it, because he doesn't watch reality TV. Yeah. He's that way, and I love that about him. He is in the sports industry.
Oh, nice.
Currently. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And fitness is a big part of your life as well. You're talking about it a lot on the show.
Yeah. It's one of my key values, honestly. And it's something that started growing on me as I go. I'm a super advocate for taking care of yourself, your health, your mental health as well.
That's one of the whoops, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you have to try, brother.
I don't know about them, to be honest with you.
I'll show you the metrics after we finish. I'll show you what metrics does it measure, and it's incredible. In the beginning, I was so skeptical until I saw the metrics, and I was like, okay, this is perfect. You get to know your sleep, your patterns, your HRP, your everything.
For me, it's because I've got friends with like Apple Watch, the Fitbits. A couple of my family members have the Aura ring.
Yeah,
I know a couple of people with the Whoop. But for me, it's just like it's always on. Like I can't sleep with stuff on, and I'm one of those people. Like the second I get in, I take all my jewelry off, everything off. You know, people are like, oh, like permanent jewelry. I'm like, absolutely not. Like the thought of permanent jewelry like sets me up in hives. Like I just need to take it off. I've like real sensory issues for that. So everyone's like, you need to try it. I'm just like, I don't think I need to be like attacked from an app every single day about how little I sleep, unless it can tell that my cat woke me up in the morning, in which case I'll be there like, bad sleep, but we'll let you off because your cat's a little bit psycho, so you get an 8 out of 10 for where you did sleep.
You have a cat? I have to.
Oh my god, yes, I've seen your cat on Insta. Oh my god, so cute. No, my cat's the most adorable thing in the entire world. I'll show you her afterwards.
Yeah.
So you're in this new relationship now. What else are you doing now? I'm seeing a couple of things here and there about a startup that's incubated. Talk to us about what your life is at the moment and sort of where it's moving to.
Thank you very much for the question.
You're so polite. You can come back anytime. This is so sweet. Gas me up.
So I started the startup, I think, a little less than a year ago. It's a female community. We try to provide support, different elements of support across different aspects of life for women.
Nice.
So different workshops, events, courses.
Love this.
And this is something that I started out of passion. So I used to do it like in smaller circles for my friends when I first moved to Dubai, because I wanted to build friends. And this was, I always believed that community is your baseline for you to be able to grow. It gives you that sense of belonging. And this is what I wanted to feel when I moved here, because I was all alone. I only had one friend who was super awesome, but then I felt like I needed a community. And then I started...
Of course, yeah.
And then I started doing this on, and I felt like, okay, this is getting exciting, and I want to do more of it, and I wanted to turn it to a business. And it was actually an idea of a friend of mine. She was like, girl, you're having a lot of traction. You should do something about it.
Brilliant.
So I put together a business plan. I pitched it, and we got incubated. And I was so proud, and I couldn't believe myself. And this was a moment of pride, and I felt like I love this country so much, because only in a country like this that ideas get actually fostered and supported. I swear.
I've never seen anything like it before here.
Yeah.
The power small businesses have over here is next level.
Literally.
Like, even whether they're just like small pop-ups or considered small pop-ups at like a Christmas market or whatever, or these massive companies like the Giving Movement, huge local company, stuff like or the delivery apps, or, you know, amazing foods, amazing drinks, all of that. This region, when it comes to startups, and not just like Bitcoin bros, tech, AI, whatever, but like consumer goods, community workshops, it's insane. I love it so much about the region.
The amount of service and support that so the number of services that you get in terms of convenience in the city is insane and so beautiful, and I think it's unprecedented, honestly. You do not get this literally anywhere else in the world.
Even in Jeddah?
No, Jeddah, I think now they have, I haven't been in a while, but I think they have developed a lot, and they are on the way where they're becoming more very tech driven. So I think this is Jeddah and Riyadh are in this space, are getting into that space. But to be fair, I haven't been in a while, so I cannot really judge. But then again, the support that this country gives to businesses is incredible. And I tell you, I pitched this idea for 13 members of committee, where I completely, I know it was for 7 minutes, like I had to pitch it in 7 minutes to sell this idea. And when I got it, I was like, what? I couldn't believe myself. I think I cried my ass off that day of like gratefulness and feeling like I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this for?
A year now.
Okay, so just after you finished the show, or just before you started filming the show?
No, before the show.
Okay.
Right before the show. And actually before the show. Yeah.
And is it that's your full-time gig at the moment, or do you have like a quote-unquote normal job on the side?
So I had a normal job on the side completely, where I've been in marketing for the past 13 years.
Oh my God, girl, I've been marketing for the last 11 years. What type of marketing are you? Are you B2C or B2B?
No, B2C.
Oh my God, same.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
How
well,
come I didn't know this? Oh, we need to talk some marketing.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
So I've done marketing in different industries, worked in different companies here in Canada and Cairo. And then I've always had this idea that I want to venture into the entrepreneurial life, and I wanted, and this was something that was out of passion, and I kicked that off. So I used to work my 9 to 5, finish that, and then work my startup, and then repeat, and this was my life up until recently, where now I'm trying to be full-time.
Brilliant.
Because the growth rate of of the startup has been slowing down versus if I'm freeing myself completely.
Of course.
So I want to take on this risk, and this is something I have decided very recently, as crazy as it is. And I feel like it's a big step to venture into that. So I decided that this is something that I really want to give it full attention, full time. So this is now my full time.
And I imagine the exposure from you being on the show is helping in a way. You know, not of course saying that's everything, but there's certainly an element of curiosity that can help bring people in, and then you know, I'm assuming people enjoy it, so then they start becoming repeat customers, etc. What sort of elements are you talking about in the workshops and in the community? Tell us a little bit about what people can expect if they want to come.
So we're called Al Muse.
El Muse.
Al Muse, and sorry.
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah.
See, it's that whoop. It's so dangerous.
No, it's not whoop. It's this one.
Okay, damn it. I needed an excuse to not have a whoop.
I know.
I was like, oh no, it's dangerous. It's gonna break stuff. Sorry, that's called El Muse. E-L.
Al Muse. A-L, which
Al.
is Al,
Yes.
which is the Arabic. The,
Yes.
and Muse.
Nice.
So I wanted to integrate a little bit of that, and
Love it.
Muse, obviously, you know what does that mean. So, so how I wanted to like foster this or have this is that I imagined when I first moved to Dubai, where I didn't have like anything or any support, and I wanted to know people. I wanted to get my life get going, build a base. And this is where we kicked off with my own experience, and I wanted to like enhance that even a little better. So we do different types of workshops. So we do everything that has to do with mindfulness. We do some wellness activities. We also do support on like, we got a lot of requests on like how to optimize on my LinkedIn, how to work on my CV, what types, how can I get into jobs, etc.
Oh, it was a great balance of personal and professional stuff.
Yeah,
that you're doing.
we're trying to do that, and then we also do give some like workshops on how to how to streamline your business on a basic level, like what type of elements that you need that are mandatory depending on which industry you're trying to tap into, what reporting you need to look into, what branding you need to do, what questions you need to ask yourself. This is like a basic thing for because we also had a lot of our audience that are female moms that are thinking of starting brands.
Brilliant.
So we give that sort of workshops and sessions. So it's a mix between professional and personal. And yeah, the past period we've been testing, trying to see what works, what doesn't work. And we had like a different name. We kind of now rebranded. My sister is my co-founder.
So I was going to say, he must say we. I'm like, who's
we? I have a team, a very small team that I'm very proud of. But yeah, I mean, and my sister is my co-founder, so we're trying to like build that together. We're launching soon, inshallah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we'll launch.
So you've been doing all of this in sort of like a real startup pre-launch testing stage.
It was all testing, and for me to be able to get a consensus of actually am I solving for something or not. So it was more of a test and learn the past period. So we're gonna launch soon with a website, and our office is in N5 at Media City.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh my god, this is so exciting.
It is very exciting.
I love this for you.
But it's so hectic, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, literally. We're also we have like a very, very boutique agency for consultancy, e-com and marketing, because my sister's in e-com and I'm in marketing. For female-led brands.
Brilliant.
As well. So yeah, this is something that we're trying to do at the moment.
Oh my god, I love this for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you're clearly very creative, very spontaneous. You know, on the show, your friends described you to Khatab as your red flag was that you have all these dreams and all of these ideas. What, other than Al Muse, what dreams and ideas are taking space in your mind at the moment?
Wow, I love this question. I think one of the key things that help you, or me, this is what I feel like, the more you dream and the bigger you dream about things, they happen. Because once your mind starts picturing an idea of how you want to be or what type of things that you want to do, automatically start doing the things that take you to that space, which people call manifestation.
Yeah.
So I love to dream and I love to come up with ideas and work on them. And even if I'm going to fail, I always want to test and learn, try, do mistakes and come. And because every single path that you take takes you to something. So my biggest dream at this point is to travel more.
Where's on your list?
Japan, Morocco.
Have you not done Japan?
Not yet. I'm
It's
dying.
my favorite place in the world.
I can imagine.
And it's great if you want to go solo, like super safe.
I'm pretty sure.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I dream about Japan like at least once a week. I'm wanting to go back.
How long did you stay?
I was there for about a week. Funny enough, I'll chew you off a little bit here. When I first came to Dubai, I had no interest in coming to Dubai. My friend moved here. I was like, free accommodation. I'll go. I'll tick the box. I came to Dubai for 3 days. Then I went to Japan for about 10. I did a 2-week holiday. And that holiday was what gave me the itch to move to Dubai. And so 5 years after that holiday, I ended up moving. So Japan has a special place in my heart, not just because of the culture, but also like that holiday. It was Dubai, Japan, yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Exactly. It literally led me here. Japan's amazing.
I can imagine.
It's
heritage,
incredible.
the history, the culture, everything about the food, the people, everything.
The way that they're able to, and I've even done South Korea as well, Seoul,
Yeah, my list
incredible. The way that East Asia manages to balance the future and the past is insane. It's not just, the modern day and the past and history. It's truly the future going on over there. It's absolutely incredible. Everybody's so polite. Everybody's just so adorable. The prices are really good. I never felt, that the prices were bad. The way in which they preserve their own culture is really incredible. Although I have to say, at the end of my trip to Japan, because I was there for 10 days, I was desperate for food that wasn't Japanese. I found like this pasta place and this really, really terrible Alfredo pasta. I must say, because it's such a homogenous society. So they're like, yeah, Japanese food. And then by the end of it, I was like, I need something that's not sushi. But it was amazing. Like, it's absolutely, absolutely incredible over there. Highly, highly recommend. And you also mentioned Morocco as well.
Morocco's definitely on my list as well because
you got a few classmates you can talk to about that.
of course. Well, I'm trying to urge her to go, so I think we're gonna do that sometime soon.
Oh my god, that would be so
on the
exciting.
list, definitely.
And where have you been that you would recommend, whether it be to the viewers, the listeners, or me?
So many places. I love Asia in general. Like, Asia has a special place in my heart. It has this feminine energy into it that makes you feel so safe. So I've been to the Philippines, that I loved a lot. I've been to Thailand, of course, Bali, Indonesia in general. My top places, I would say Bali and Italy.
Oh, where in Bali? Are you in Ubud or what's the other one? Seminyak?
Seminyak.
Yep.
I've been around, so I went to Ubud, Seminyak, and I went to the islands. Oh my god, how can I not? There were 3 islands next to each other. I don't remember their name right now. They're super cool. They're segregated from everything, and they're so separated. And you can even like walk around the island on foot and take a bike. So these are the things that I love.
And where in Italy?
South Italy. That's my heart, I swear.
Amalfi Coast, Sicily.
Yes, Sicily and Amalfi Coast.
Stunning.
Oh my god, they're so the food, the people, and they're so similar to us. Like the way they live their life, how they have incredibly strong family values.
Big gatherings, serving,
Everyone is eating, everyone is enjoying. So it's very relevant, and the food is something else, something else completely different.
Oh, I love Italian food. I absolutely love Italian food. Yeah. Speaking of home, Egypt, here in Dubai, where are you going for that feeling of home? If you're missing the food, the culture, where is your, I just need that essence?
My sister is a great cook. I swear I suck at cooking. Like, I'm so bad, it's unrealistic. But my sister is such a wonderful cook. She cooks like all these authentic meals. So this is one.
What is authentic Egyptian food?
Molokhia, I don't know if you've tried that. Well, I'll have to take you sometime. I'll have to take you some.
I'll take your sister's food.
I'll have to either invite you to home or take you somewhere nice so we could try Egyptian
Sold.
food. So we
Say
have
less.
molokhia. We have, this might sound a little bit weird for you, but stuffed pigeons.
Stuffed pigeons. Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I've had pigeon before. I've had a really good pigeon salad in the UK. It's not super common, but I have eaten pigeon.
It's stuffed. Ooh, yeah. So it's so nice. So that, and then we have also known as dolma. We call it mahshi.
Okay.
Which is stuffed vine leaves.
Oh,
Stuffed
yes.
cabbage.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And stuffed maybe sometimes. How can you call this? Melanzana. How do you call it in English? Eggplant.
Oh, aubergine. Yes,
Yeah,
aubergine. Yeah.
So all of this good food. So either at home with my sister, or you pop up at one of my friends' places, or I go to Haduta Masriya. They have a couple of branches around the city. The most popular one is in what's it called, in Sheikh Zayed Road.
Okay.
And then there is Arabesca.
Okay.
In Palm.
Nice.
Love it.
Very good.
Vibe is nice. Then Ramadan, it's amazing.
Ooh. Yes, Ramadan. That'll be, of the iftars there must slap.
Yeah, you don't find a space there. It's fully booked all the time.
Oh, okay, I'm going to have to pre-plan. Because Ramadan's literally in like 2 months.
Yeah,
It's
khalas,
very
I can't
end
imagine.
of February.
Yeah, literally. End of February.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. It feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, crazy. I'm going to be doing Ramadan the whole month this month. I did it for a week this year.
No
I'm going to do it
way.
for the whole month.
Good job, girl.
I'm getting down with the cocktail.
Yeah.
I'm getting down with the culture. I'm really excited. Loads of people. I did Ramadan for a week last year, and obviously, looking and sounding the way I do, people were really surprised. But I love getting involved in the culture here. And one thing that I've been so moved by is seeing women in this region. You know, look, I'm ashamed to admit, but I'm a very open person. The West spins women in this region in a very, very linear fashion. You know, you see from social media, only if you have certain algorithms, that there are differences to that. Love Is Blind really catapulted the variety and the range in which women in this region are. The way you look, the way you sound, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you approach dating. Having lived everywhere you've lived, and ultimately, settling here and having the background you have, how do you think, or what to you is being an Arab woman?
I love this question. I think one of the things that I'm very, very authentically proud of is being an Arab woman. Being an Arab woman is I'll say Arabs in general, but then maybe specifically on women.
Mm-hmm.
Women are in this region are being portrayed in a specific way.
Yep.
Whilst if you come to look at this region and the Middle East in general, we are huge.
Mm-hmm.
You get so many different cultures, so many different dialects. Like, we all might speak the same language, which is Arabic, but then we are so rich when it comes to our cultures, our backgrounds, the dialects within one country. Like within Egypt itself, you would find different cities doing different things, speaking different ways, eating different things. Mm-hmm. And that only shows you how rich in culture we are. We are not, the way that we've been portrayed in the media is that we are very backwards. Mm-hmm. We do not know anything about how the world operates. We're being oppressed.
Mm-hmm. That's the buzzword that's thrown around.
Yeah, and I feel like if a given woman is taking a decision consciously to wear whatever she feels like wearing, this is her own decision. Mm-hmm. She owns it completely, and it has nothing to do with being oppressed.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't see myself as oppressed at all. I see myself as very lucky, and I see myself as a person that comes with a very rich background. The fact that I'm able to relate to this culture, but then embrace my own culture. This on its own, you don't get that a lot in the world. I'm not talking about myself per se, but I'm talking about a lot of people in this region where you get to understand and speak other languages. Like, for example, in North Africa, they all speak other languages other than Arabic, like French, and they understand this culture, but yet they embrace their culture. And this on its own has so much power into it that we don't necessarily being portrayed as such. So I think the Arab woman is one of the most powerful women in the world, for the grace that she has, for the respect that she has for herself, for the for how she carries herself through situations, and tries to live the today but keep the culture at the same time. And that's why I'm super, like, I feel so proud to identify myself as one, literally.
Mashallah, I love that. That was beautiful. That needs to get written in a book or something. That was great. Thank you so much for your time today. This has been an incredible conversation. I've learned so much. I hope you guys have learned so much. Please, Asma, camera's all yours. Tell us what you've got going on, where people can find you, and what's next.
Thank you very much for having me and having the time and setting this up. It was lovely and wonderful.
Anytime.
And hi, everyone. So this is Asma, and thank you very much for listening. And I hope this inspired by any way or form, because it does inspire me to speak about topics as such, especially with her. And I'm so happy to be part of this podcast. So if at any point you want to follow me, please follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, and my handle is @it's Asma Sami, and I'll see you soon.
And I remember, this is Think You Know, whether you thought you know or you knew you didn't. I think you know a little bit more now. I just want to say a huge thank you for the team here at Manor Productions for lending us this space. They've been absolutely incredible. We will be back very, very soon with someone very exciting. Love you all. Bye.